Hello and welcome to NFL predictions for the 2019 season. I am the Sports Wiz 101. So let's start with the AFC East. I have the New England Patriots finishing 14-2. Despite their retirement of Gronk, they are going to benefit from a relatively easy schedule. I mean, everyone knows that the Patriots, they don't really try their hardest the first 4 weeks of the season. But by the time you get to week 5 and even week 7, week 9, week 14, they have things under control. And really some of their tougher opponents are after week 4, especially in week 14 when you take on the Kansas City Chiefs. They get home field throughout the AFC playoffs. Then you got the New York Jets. They finished 10-6, a marked improvement upon past seasons after additions of several players, including Le'Veon Bell. However, it's still not enough for the Jets to make the playoffs. Then you have the Buffalo Bills. They'll finish 5-11. This is a development year for Buffalo. And then the Jets. Could they possibly tank for Tua? Possibly. I got them at 2-14, which definitely puts them in that range. Over to the AFC North, I've got the Cleveland Browns winning the North at 12-4, earning the 3 seed. Now, Cleveland, you guys have the talent to go to the Super Bowl. But it would be the most Browns thing in the world for you to waste this talent, go 500, or even, oh dear, a losing record. But anyway, they go 12-4. The Steelers finish a game behind at 11-5. Yes, despite losing Antonio Brown via a trade, despite losing Le'Veon Bell to free agency, despite the fact that Le'Veon Bell wasn't even a Steeler last year, I still believe that the Steelers can make the playoffs. I got them 11-5 the top wild card in the AFC. Third place, I got the Ravens at 9-7. Look, have Lamar Jackson develop some sort of a passing game, or else you're going back to irrelevance. And then Cincinnati, it's going to be a rebuilding season for Cincinnati. You better hope that Zach Taylor gets added to the list of people who are great at football but have really forgettable names. On to the AFC South. Now, of course, this division looked a lot different in predictions before Andrew Luck's retirement. As you can see, I now have the Jacksonville Jaguars sitting at 11-5, holding the 4 seed in the AFC South. They will be at least a very better offense. But here's the problem I have with Nick Foles. I do have a problem with him. I view him as kind of the Hulk of the NFL. That's not to say he's really strong. It's just, at times, he is someone you can really mess with. But as the battle goes on, don't mess with him too much, or else he is going to destroy you. Just ask the Patriots what he did to him in the Super Bowl, for instance. My point is, Nick Foles isn't really the internet's depiction of him until later on in the season. I mean, I could also describe him as Jekyll and Hyde, so yeah. Texans, I had you somewhat as a playoff team after the Luck retirement, and then he shipped away to Davion Clowney. Didn't really get much back for him. That made me lose some confidence in you, so you dropped to 9-7, missing the playoffs. The Tennessee Titans, you're all mad, but you got a tough schedule. You finished 5-11. Colts, yeah, you still get 4 victories, despite the Andrew Luck retirement. But you better figure out a way to win some games against your division, or maybe you should just invest in a quarterback next draft. Okay, over to the AFC West, where I've got the Kansas City Chiefs earning the first round bye, winning the AFC West at 14-2. it'll be an interesting year for Kansas City, especially with their defense. They overhauled their defense, if you didn't hear. I mean, defensive coordinator Bob Sutton got fired shortly after the AFC Championship game loss, and he was replaced with Steve Spagnuolo, which, by the way, the linebackers that Kansas City has, they fit better in a 4-3 than they do a 3-4. I will say that right now. And that defensive line, it's still going to be a big strength of this defense, but I will question the secondary. I mean, sure, they went and got Morris Claiborne and all that, but and they have the Honey Badger, but aside from that, they were going to have, they really have like 4 or 5 different people that are listed at cornerback for their first 4 weeks of the season, which is how long Mo Claiborne is scheduled to be out due to his suspension. So it'll be interesting to see how the Chiefs' defense looks the first few weeks of the season and how they look after they get Claiborne in there. Now the Chargers, I had you a bit higher up, and then Derwin James got injured. That dropped you a bit. You're 11-5. You still get in the playoffs, but as the second wild card. Denver and Oakland, I just don't really have that much faith in you. I will say Denver, you do have, in my view, the best quarterback you've had since Peyton Manning. I still don't believe in that offense, though. As for Oakland, yeah, you're getting Antonio Brown, but he's just a bit of a diva, a bit of a nutcase, if you will. So you fall to 3-13 worst in the West. Now on to the NFC East. I have the Dallas Cowboys. Despite the holdout of Ezekiel Elliott, you finish 11-5. Look, it sounds like you and Zeke are going to be coming to a new contract here soon, and even then, I think your first few games are relatively easy. Your first real tough one, I believe, is at New Orleans, so there's that. Alright, and then you have second place Philadelphia Eagles. I've heard some people talk about them as a Super Bowl contender. I just don't see it with Carson Wentz. He's going to have to prove that this past season, no, not this past season, the season they went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago where he got injured. He was looking like a top MVP contender, and then he got injured. And Nick Foles led the Eagles the rest of the way to the Super Bowl. My question is, was that a fluke? Carson Wentz is going to answer that this season. And you better hope the answer is no, it was not a fluke. Washington, look, I don't really like where your quarterback situation is. I mean, you could go Alex Smith, except he was severely injured last year, and I doubt he'll be ready. You could go Dwayne Haskins, but he's a rookie. So it looks like you're making the decision I would have made, probably, and going with Case Keenum. That still doesn't mean you got a good quarterback. You finished 4-12. And Giants, where do I start with you? Yes, you get 2 wins, but that might finish a bit worse after you got rid of your best player in Odell Beckham Jr. via a trade with the Browns. So anyway, you finished 2-14 in the race for the top pick in the next draft. On to the NFC North. As you can see, I love the Chicago Bears, especially their defense for this coming season. Chicago, look, Trubisky, just don't mess things up too much. As for Green Bay, I feel like they are going to bounce back in a big way, going 12-4 under new coach Matt LaFleur. And then over to third place, it's the Minnesota Vikings at 10-6. You're going to have a strong season, but still not enough to make the playoffs in an always competitive NFC. And then Lions, I don't really like you. I mean, yes, you're getting a bunch of Patriots, but a bunch of ex-Patriots, that is. When has that ever worked out good for anyone, though? So, on to the NFC South, I have the Saints continuing on their success from last season, finishing 12-4. Drew Brees gives us another quality season. Then we got Cam Newton's Panthers at 11-5, the 6th seed in the NFC. Look, it really depends on how healthy Cam Newton is. If he's completely healthy, this prediction is very possible. If you guys have to depend on backup quarterbacks this whole season, yeah, you're not competing for anything except the number 1 overall pick. Falcons, look, I just don't like your defense at all. Sure, you got Matt Ryan, but what else? Come on. 6-10. And then the Bucs, I hate the Bucs this season, honestly. 2-14 for Tampa. On to the West. I like the Rams here at 13-3, getting the first round bye. The Seahawks failed to make the playoffs at 10-6. Maybe a bit of a down year for Russell Wilson. San Francisco, you're going to rebound from last season. You're not quite going to make the playoffs. You're going to finish 9-7. But you're definitely going to finish better than last season when you lost Jimmy Garoppolo in Week 3. As for Arizona, I do not like adding Cliff Kingsbury, the fire Texas Tech coach, and then putting Kyler Murray in there behind a weak offensive line. Yeah, it's not going to be too happy for Kyler Murray, his first season in the league. So, those are my NFL predictions for the 2019 season. If you like this, please like and subscribe for more videos just like this. I'm the Sports Wiz 101, and I will see you all later.